At the Pentagon this morning, the U.S. Secretary of War declared that American and Israeli forces are dominating the airspace over Iran and the military situation at sea.
The only limits we have in this is President Trump's desire to achieve specific effects on behalf of the American people. And that's why we don't talk about, you can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 3. Ultimately, we set the pace and the tempo. The enemy is off balance, and we're going to keep them off balance. And we know their ability to shoot versus our ability to defend. That difference gets wider and wider every day.
The U.S. Secretary of War speaking from the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia this morning. So what are Iran's capabilities? Can the regime still inflict damage, and can it survive this military onslaught? CBC's senior international correspondent Sasha Petrusek has more.
Iran is not a superpower, obviously, so it's really adopted a strategy of desperation, or as experts would call it, asymmetrical warfare is what they are heading for. Now, for instance, this ship that the United States hit today, when it comes to the Navy, Iran actually has a fairly decent Navy. It's up in the top 40 or 50 in the world, more than 100 ships. But its real magic, if you like, in all of this is that when it comes to this Strait of Hormuz, it's very narrow, it's very shallow. It's the kind of place that U.S. President Donald Trump has promised to maybe escort ships through. But a big Navy with big ships is at a disadvantage in this kind of a location. Iran has smaller boats, very powerful, with a lot of weaponry on them from the Revolutionary Guard. They also have the ability to mine this narrow passage. So, in a way, it's kind of guerrilla warfare. Iran also has a pretty sizable ballistic missile set of ballistic missiles. They are hidden all over the country, mostly underground. At the beginning of this conflict, it's estimated that they still had between 2,000 and 3,000 of these missiles, maybe more, maybe 4,000 available to them. They have been firing some of these as far as Israel and obviously all across the Gulf, but they still have many of these available to them. And then you have these drones that they have been using. We've seen them hitting diplomatic posts. Just a little while ago, we saw them hit the headquarters of the Kurdish forces, which the U.S. is looking at perhaps employing against Iran. So they have been using these drones. They're relatively inexpensive, and they can be used to great effect. We're talking about so-called kamikaze drones. These are drones which are fueled up, they're armed with explosives, and they're basically aimed at a particular target, and off they go. Once they get there, they explode, causing a great deal of damage. Sometimes they send a whole team of these drones, perhaps even 100. This is technology that Iran started to employ, and it's been used elsewhere. Russia has been using it against Ukraine. It is considered one of the new ways of doing all of this. One of the magic things about all of this, though, is the cost. These drones are very cheap, between $20,000 and $50,000 per drone. And the best way to knock them down is Patriot missiles. Those cost about $4 million for each missile. So the strategy here, again, a cost, but also eventually they're hoping that the U.S. is going to run out of these missiles, these expensive missiles, and that Iran will then have more of an advantage. When it comes to the missiles themselves, if the ballistic missiles that I was talking about, with these missiles, between 4,000, 5,000 of them. The estimate from experts is that those could last maybe 12 days, maybe 2 weeks if they continue firing them at the rate that they have been going. Now, we saw them slow down a little bit today, and that's probably what's going to happen. There's going to be a lull, and then they're going to come back. So this could be longer than those 2 weeks. As far as the drones are concerned, they have thousands of these, perhaps even tens of thousands, and that could be something that we see as being a threat to the United States, to Israel, for a long time, much longer than the couple of weeks. And if that's the case, then this could drag out, and Iran could, in fact, have advantages over the U.S. in these very particular areas and cause them a lot of trouble.
CBC Senior International Correspondent Sasha Petrusek, thank you.